This podcast is brought to you by Mapper Forward's new Patreon community, the Global Coffee Think Tank. Check the show notes or head to patreon.com/Mapper Forward to find out how you can become a member today. Welcome back to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and we are joined by Medina Ilyas for episode 4 out of 5 on our conversation about Arabic coffee. We've talked about a lot of stuff. In the last episode, we talked about the ritual behind Arabic coffee, and today we are talking about the health remedies that come with adding the different kinds of flavors that we add, the spices that we add to Arabic coffee. So Medina, talk to us about the relationship between the different spices and the health remedies that they present.
So yeah, as I mentioned before, the varieties of spices are incredible. That is all totally depends on the family. I think each family has their own blends, their own way to brew it. But in general, is as the most common one is a cardamom. It's saffron, it's cinnamon, and it's rose water. That's the most common, which and also cloves. So the cloves. So let's talk about these ones and make sure that because it's an endless list. I think the more I talk to people, the more I discover. I also will talk about ginger. So because ginger is almost in every Saudi recipe. So coffee on its own, it's a remedy if it's consumed and brewed properly without adding sugar, without adding syrups, without adding milk. And everybody now talks about this, and especially people know if it's like light roast. It's a strong antioxidant, and it really helps with dealing with stress. It helps with even recent research is what really got my attention is that it helps to prevent the Alzheimer's disease. So the people who consume on a regular basis 1 or 2 cups of coffee per day, freshly brewed, proper one, they have much lower chance to get Alzheimer or like some sort of dementia in the future because it really stimulates our neurocells performance. I can talk about it for a long time because neuroscience is my second passion.
We have so much in common, lady. I tell you, and as I said, every time I talk to you, I find another thing that fascinates me about you.
We can continue this, yes. But coffee is a remedy, and a lot of Arab doctors, historically doctors, which were actually in 14th and 13th and 15th century, they were known to prescribe the Arabic coffee as a medicine. But on top of that coffee on its own, the spices are incredible ingredients. And if they're also brewed properly, and if they're they can prevent and cure certain diseases. Let's talk about the cardamom. So it has several health benefits, but I want to feature the main one. It helps body to fight and get rid of the free radicals. So what does it mean? It means right now in the Western world, in the modern medicine, people who are fighting cancer, who are battling cancer, going through chemotherapy, they're right now, of course, on top of the chemotherapy, they are prescribed to consume a lot of cardamom, to add it to the food, to take it as a tablets, and to make it as a drink. So because there is a scientific evidence saying that it really helps to not only to strengthen your immunity system, but to help to prevent and to get to prevent and fight the cancer cells. And can you imagine if you drink it's on a regular basis, on a daily basis, how good it is? Regarding the cloves, I will feature the main points of each one.
Yeah. And for details the details are all in the book, and there are references to the articles for Alzheimer's disease as well as for dementia in the book as well. So
So the cloves is a very strong anti-inflammatory. So in my country, historically, we're giving it if you're getting sick and if you get a virus or you have like, your immunity system is actually not coping or you have an infection. So it works great. But I never thought that you can do it, put it in the drink. I was always treating cloves as a medicine as a child. So yes, we never really had as a food, and we never consumed. So our food is very, very different. But when I came here, I understood, oh, you don't need to take it only as a medicine. Actually, it tastes incredible as a part of as a drink.
It's also anti-parasitic. So if anyone does suffer from parasites, it's a potent anti-parasitic.
Cinnamon. Oh wow, cinnamon. First of all, it tastes incredible. It's my favorite spice by far. It's just the smell and when I'm brewing the coffee, what we will like one day I'll hope we can do it together.
Inshallah.
I'm using the cinnamon stick instead of the spoon. That's my trick. I never put metal spoons in the coffee.
You mentioned that in the book.
Yeah.
Because it reacts with the spices, right?
Yes, and even the coffee, you cannot guarantee this is a properly like a culinary metal blend, right? Mm-hmm. It's like if you take what spoons you're using, we don't know out of what is made. But first of all, cinnamon smells amazing. It looks amazing. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it only adds the flavors when you're actually using it as a spoon. But cinnamon is as a remedy is also actually strong anti-inflammatory, and it's also antibacterial, and it tastes amazing, and also it helps with coping with stress. Yeah. So there's so many things. I just it's an endless list. Saffron is known to be the most expensive spice herb in the world. 1 kg of saffron goes from $1,000 minimum to the record is $27,000 for a kg. Can you imagine? Wow. It's like more expensive than the caviar. So, and the reason is like because it's very difficult to collect these herbs. It's a very difficult, time-consuming, effort-consuming. But historically, saffron is known to be an antidepressant. So there were the people who were struggling with some anxiety, depression, sleep deprivation, so with everything. So doctors were prescribing them to have tea with saffron. And it's known right now. It's an expensive spice to drink it constantly and put it. But now it's known and it's added to the old, these websites like iHerb.com and all this. Yes. So they actually do then sell these teas right now with saffron.
Wow.
But they go with so you can easily do it yourself. You don't need to do it with coffee. You do it just you can have the saffron, but not the cooked saffron in the cakes. It's a different story, please. Don't expect the saffron cake to help this.
But the saffron cake would make me feel good any day of the week. It's so good.
I agree. I'm already drinking now.
That unto itself is an antidepressant remedy.
Exactly. No, it's true. It's true. And so all of these spices and ginger, of course, we'll know what we do when we get sick. Let's have a tea with ginger and lemon, right? Yeah. That's how we all deal with this. And can you imagine if we put the ginger? Actually, there are some Arabs who were like, for example, in Zanzibar, and if the Arabs who were living and trading between India, and so they're putting turmeric there in kahwa.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Turmeric has such a subtle but distinct flavor, and I suspect this is going to sound very strange, but much like the way that you have to balance spices when you make a curry, balancing the spices that you're going to add to coffee is an art form.
Yeah, so it's an art. That's why I'm saying it's an art. If you put it like milligrams more, and then it will completely overtake, and you will not taste the coffee at all. That's another point actually to mention, to be very careful with the amount of spices you put when you make the coffee.
And when is the optimum time during the brewing process to add the spices?
It's a good question because the more people I talk, everybody has different opinions.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
depends what you want. So I met recently, we had a very nice conversation with the Jordanian Bedouin family. And they said, but as we said, each region is different. So they prefer to really taste the coffee and have a very tiny smell and sense of the cardamom. So they put it only at the ends and only cardamom.
Wow. That's
And
different
only
to the
when
way we do it.
Exactly. So it's so different. So the coffee is already brewed, and they just add ground cardamom in the thermos, just to give it a smell and the flavor.
Oh,
That's all about
wow.
it.
Whereas
So
we boil it in with, like,
exactly.
we start with the water, we add the cardamom, we boil it, make sure that the water heats up with the cardamom in it so that it's already tasting very rich of cardamom, and then we add the coffee. And
exactly. So
that's the only spice we add.
So I think the part of the south of Oman and Yemen, they are well known for frankincense, where the frankincense is originally coming from. Wow. So they put the frankincense as a coffee in the water first. They melt it there, so that already has a sense of like a smell, incredible. And frankincense is known to be as a world-known remedy. Everybody's traveling abroad, like historically, it's even like it was given for people for different like health issues. It prevents like headaches. It's battling so many things. Anyway, so they put it at the beginning. I don't put frankincense myself personally, but I have a whole. I put saffron, I put cardamom, I put cinnamon, but I put them all in different time.
Yeah, wow. Oh, so you add one.
Yes, I put them in a different time.
Right.
Saffron is so sensitive. If you put it after the coffee, it will not give it taste.
It'll disappear.
It will disappear. It will not even. But if you put saffron in the cold water and it will dissolve, first, believe me, it will give its best. And then you add coffee, and then it's my routine. That's how I really make it. But I was like, but I this is my favorite. But of course I make many others ones. Then I add cardamom, and then I add cinnamon only at the end when the coffee is already brewed, and it's a tiny pinch. And after 5 minutes, when already coffee is brewed, I will add the rose water to make it softer. But the quality of the rose water will play such a huge role. I buy it directly from Iran, so please don't buy it in the supermarkets, which is like I don't know, the distilled ones. It's a very different one. So I think the list of ingredients and also the varieties of how you blend it is endless. That's the more and also, like, of course, taking into account also that each country will also differ on the type of the roast. So then you can play with millions of different recipes. And I think it's only the beginning.
Yeah, how exciting. And saying that it's the beginning perfectly leads us into the next episode, where we're going to talk about the future of Arabic coffee. And, we'll explore a little bit of the way that your future endeavors with this business that you're going to build and with this book are going to preserve the recipes that exist and what the future of Arabic coffee holds. So let's do that. Perfect. Peace, love, and peanut butter, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.